Hey guys, Caley Alyssa here. I'm at the Alo Yoga flagship store in Beverly Hills. You are about to do a 30-minute power vinyasa class with me. Now there's a ton more content on Alo Yoga's YouTube channel, so if you're interested, go and subscribe because we're releasing new stuff all the time. Okay, so we're gonna get started with this 30-minute flow. So come forward into a tabletop position and tuck your toes, push your hips back so that your heels and your hips are close to each other. So this is a really nice stretch for your toes, the arches of your feet, and you're just gonna hang out here for a moment or two. And then we'll come on back up. From this position, step your right foot outside of your right hand. We're gonna draw circles in your hip. So this flow is gonna be kind of centered around the hips. We're gonna do a lot of different hip stretches and leg work, so I just want you to make sure that you're open, you're working on your range of motion here, and working out any little snap, crackle, pops you might have in the hip. And we're gonna take that right leg and just walk it out until the leg is straight and the sole of the foot is planted flat on the floor. My left knee is a 90-degree angle still. And then from here, I'll walk the hands forward, push the hips back. So you'll feel this stretch all the way down the back of your leg. You'll also feel it up and in the groin. Now you can kind of melt your chest down like Anahatasana, so maybe forehead to mat. If you've got some space, your chin and your chest could come and rest on the mat. And then just walk your hands back in, bring the right knee to meet the left. Wiggle your hips a little side to side. So we're gonna do the same thing on the left, stepping the left foot outside the hand, and just begin to roll a few circles in that hip socket. And you might feel some crunchiness, and if you find sensitive spots, I want you to move just slower in those spots. You can probably hear my ankles cracking. They crack a lot. One more time. And then we'll come to center, find that 90-degree angle with the back knee, walking the left leg out to the side until the sole of the foot is planted flat. And then from here again, I walk the hands forward. Either melt the forehead to the ground, or maybe chin and chest could come all the way down. And then just walk your hands back in. Bring your right knee down into tabletop, wiggle your hips side to side. Okay, from here we'll move into downward facing dog. So tuck your toes, push your hips back, and lift all the way up into your down dog. Good, now from down dog, we'll just hang out for a breath or two, bending into your right knee with the left leg straight. Take a little stretch in the back of the legs. And then switch it, straighten the right leg and bend into the left knee. Good, now straighten both legs. Look up at your hands, bring your thumbs together to touch. We'll step your right foot outside of your right hand, turn to face the side of your yoga mat, coming into Skandasana. So your right knee bends, your left toes pop up off of the mat. Now notice my right heel is connected. It's not lifted up off the ground. So try to have the heel down. You might need to lift your hips up a little higher in order to do that. And we'll just hang out here for a couple breaths. You can use your right elbow to push the right knee open a little. And feel that stretch. And then from this position, we'll come to the center of the yoga mat, heels turned in, fingertips flat on the ground directly under your shoulders. So you want your knees to track directly over your toes in this position. Bring your hands behind your head, and then slowly begin to lift your torso up. So you can see my back here, it's nice and long and straight. I'm not rounded, and I'm not leaning forward or leaning back in any way. Take your arms out to a cactus position and sink deep into this pose. We call this goddess for the ladies and sumo for the men. So sink as low as you can and just breathe. One more big inhale. And on the exhale, bring your hands to your knees. We'll let the right shoulder fall in, pushing your hips back behind you. And then switch it, let your left shoulder fall in, pushing the hips back. And then from here, we move into Skandasana on the left and sink down low. So this flow is gonna be a circular flow. We're gonna be moving around our mat in all directions. So oftentimes we get stuck in a very linear flow and we're forward and backward, forward and backward. We're gonna try to break the mold with this one. So have your mind open to that. And when you're ready, face the back of your yoga mat. From here, we'll step back into plank position. And from plank position, just drop your knees down to the mat. Bring your chest and chin down to the mat. and slowly roll all the way forward onto your bellies. So for this first vinyasa, we'll take it real easy, low cobra. And then from low cobra, release and push back, bringing hips to heels in child's pose. Take a breath here. And then from child's pose, we'll return into downward facing dog. Okay. So we're going to take this first round of our flow really slow, and then we'll start to move one breath per movement and pick up the pace. So from here, step your right foot forward and rise up to crescent lunge. So we'll hang out in our crescent for a few rounds of breath, just working on extending the back body so your ribs are actually lifting away from the back hips a little bit, and your front body is getting really strong and engaged. And we'll hang out here and breathe, feeling that nice stretch in your hip flexor on the front side. So you should already be starting to build some heat. Even though we're not moving quickly, we're holding these postures, really powerful, strong poses. So start to feel the heat rising in your body. Now, from this crescent lunge, we'll take the arms wide, and we're going to come right into warrior two from here. So the front knee stays bent. The back heel is going to turn down. The back toes are angled slightly in on a diagonal so that my hips can point in that same direction. My torso is going to work to the side of the mat. So hips here, torso here, belly lift. Okay? And we stay in this front leg. So I know it's working really hard. Breathe. Stay with it. Okay. Now, I want you to see if you can maintain this height with your hips without letting them lift at all. Keep the front knee bent. Turn your back heel in. Return to your sumo or your goddess. So again, check and make sure your knees are right over your toes. Check and make sure that your belly is drawing in. Your back body is long. Breathe here. You might even begin to shake a little bit, and that's okay. Just try to stay in this position. Use your breath to sustain you. Okay, and then from our sumo or goddess, we stay low, and we're going to come to warrior two facing the front of the yoga mat. So the back heel turns in as that back leg straightens. The hips remain at the same exact height. Watch that you're not dumping into your belly here, so lift so the low belly is really strong. Okay, now here comes the tricky part. So from warrior two, we're going to be moving back to crescent lunge. So in order to do that, the back heel is going to need to lift. The right arm is going to swing forward, and your left foot will walk over just an inch or two to the left. So we'll find that crescent lunge facing the top end of the yoga mat here. Sink into the front knee. So now it's this left leg that's really been working for a while. You want to stay in it and breathe. Okay, see if you can sink a little bit deeper. Take a big inhale, look up at your hands, reach up. And then on your exhale, bring your hands all the way down to the mat. Step back into your plank position. Now this time we'll lower halfway down chaturanga. From here, upward facing dog. Exhale, push back into your down dog. Okay, so that was one full round. We're gonna do this a few times, moving one breath per movement. So the heat is going to build pretty quickly in your body. If you're not already warm, you'll feel it soon. So try to stay with me. If you get lost, just pause it or take a break and join me whenever you need to jump back in. So from your down dog, step your right foot forward. Inhale, rise up to your crescent lunge. Exhale, open up to warrior two. Stay low in your hips, come to sumo or goddess. And then come back to warrior two facing the back end of your mat. Okay, from that position, we inhale, rise up into crescent lunge. Whew. And on your exhale, you release your hands down, step back to plank, and lower through chaturanga. From here, upward facing dog. And from there, downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward. Rise up to crescent lunge. Exhale to warrior two. Inhale to sumo. Let's reach both arms up when we come to sumo. And then exhale to warrior two facing the top of the mat. From there, inhale, rotate back to crescent lunge. Take one big breath. And then exhale, hands to the mat, step back and lower, chaturanga. Up dog, inhale. Down dog, exhale. Now we're gonna switch it. Start with your left foot forward. Come on up to your crescent lunge. Exhale to warrior two. Now we inhale to sumo, so heels turn in, both arms lift up on the inhale. And then exhale, come back to warrior two, face the back of the mat. Inhale, rise to your crescent lunge. Exhale, release your hands down, step back and lower, chaturanga. Up dog, inhale. Down dog, exhale. Again, left foot steps forward. Rise up to crescent lunge, inhale. Exhale, open to warrior two. Inhale, stay low, come to sumo. Exhale, come back to warrior two. Inhale, rise up to crescent lunge. Exhale, hands down, step back and lower, chaturanga. Up dog, inhale. Down dog, exhale. Now the right foot steps forward. Rise to crescent. Exhale to warrior two. Inhale to sumo, hips low. Exhale to warrior two. Inhale, rise to crescent lunge. Exhale, hands down, step back, lower chaturanga. Up dog, inhale. Down dog, exhale. Right foot forward. Inhale to crescent. Exhale to warrior two. Good. Inhale to goddess, arms up. Exhale back to warrior two. Inhale to crescent lunge. Exhale, hands down, step back, lower chaturanga. Up dog, inhale. Down dog, exhale. Good. Left foot forward, last round. Rise to crescent. Open to warrior two. Inhale to goddess. Exhale to warrior two. Inhale, crescent. Exhale, hands down, step back. Take your version of vinyasa. If chaturanga doesn't work, you could always skip it. Left foot forward. Crescent lunge. Warrior two. Inhale to sumo. Exhale to warrior two. Inhale to crescent. Exhale, hands down, step back through your vinyasa. We'll meet together in downward facing dog. Whew. All right, take a few breaths, be still. Slow down your breathing. So that was a lot of movement and a lot of flow. So just be still for a few breaths here. See if you can slow the breath down. Match your inhale to your exhale. Good. All right, and then from your down dog, lift high onto your toes, bend your knees, look forward. You can step or you can hop all the way up, top of your mat. Inhale, lengthen, and exhale, fold. Come all the way up, reach your arms overhead. Big breath, and then exhale. Hands to your heart center. Okay, so we're gonna move into a little bit of twisting postures. So we did a lot of flow, and now we're gonna do a couple holding standing poses, working on our obliques. So be kind of at the top end of your yoga mat, and then look down at your feet, have your big toes touching, and have your heels about an inch or two apart from each other. And then from this position, we'll come into chair. So hips sink low, arms up, chest up. So in chair pose, let's bring hands to prayer position, and then hinge halfway forward. So your hips stay neutral, your knees stay together. Take a big breath. And on your exhale, without touching your elbow to your knee, we're just gonna twist to the right. So notice if one side of your torso got shorter or longer than the other, try to find equal length. And once you've got that, then bring the elbow to the knee. And use that leverage just to twist a little deeper if it's available for you. Okay, so this is option A. We're gonna hang out here and breathe. Slow down your breath. Option B is to look down at the ground and see if you can lift your left foot up off the mat. And if the left foot lifts, see if you could extend the leg behind you. Find your balance in this twist. Last 5, 4, 3, 2. Now on one, wherever you are, spread your arms open wide. Take your left hand to the ground. See if you could straighten your right leg as you lift your left leg up and back, coming into twisted Ardha Chandrasana. So the back leg is really strong and active. Your hips are trying to maintain neutrality in this position, and we're trying to twist from the torso. Last 3, 2, and 1. Hands down. Bring both feet down and step your feet out as wide as your yoga mat. Bend your knees and come into a squatting position as you round your back and walk your hands forward. So just let your head hang heavy. Breathe here. Good. And then slowly straighten the legs, lift your hips, heel till your feet back together to touch. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. Whew. Okay, shake it out just for a moment. We're going to move into our second round of that chair twist, adding in the balancing twists. So big toes touch, heels a little bit apart from each other. Bend your knees, sink down into your chair pose. Okay, now once you get in chair, bring your hands to prayer position. Hinge halfway forward here. Can you maintain length in both sides of your waist? Take an inhale. On your exhale, start to twist. Right elbow towards the knee, but don't touch. Make sure you didn't shorten one side or the other. Get really equal in the torso. Then bring the elbow to the knee. See if you could push your hips back, lengthen your chest forward. And then option A is to stay right here and breathe. Option B, lift your right foot up off the mat. See if you could extend your right leg back behind you. Maintain the twist. And then from here, spread your arms wide, bring your right hand to the ground under your shoulder, kick your right leg back behind you, and straighten into the standing left leg. Twisted Ardha Chandrasana. Watch your right hip doesn't drop. Lift it up, level with the left hip. Right arm is straight out from the shoulder. Breathe for 5, 4, 3, 2, and on 1, hands down, feet as wide apart as the yoga mat. We'll return into our squatting position, Malasana. This time, hands to heart. Press the knees open, lift the chest up. So we just take a couple breaths here, slowing down. That was a really challenging sequence, so just catch your breath. Okay. Now we are going to work on one little arm balance from here, so we're primed and ready for our crow pose in this position. Okay, so I'm going to have you plant your hands down on the mat in front of you, lift your butt up, knees will be at the backs of the upper arms, and then just see if you could lean the weight forward and come onto your tiptoes here, and then come back into the heels. So it's as simple as that, okay? Elbows bend back, shoulders are away from my neck and ears. I put the knees on the backs of the upper arms, I lean forward, maybe lift one foot up. And then maybe lift both feet up, hug the belly in. Maybe you can work your arms towards straight. And breathe for 5, 4, 3, 2. On 1, come right back into your squatting position, heels down, hips down, hands up. Breathe here, slow down your breath. Okay, so we're going to do one more sort of power move, and then we'll start to take it down and slow down quite a bit. Okay, so this is the last thing. I want you to take one little hop back with your feet. Your hands will be at the top of your mat. Lift your butt up. So we're going to try to do 5 to 10 hop-ups here. So your hands are flat under your shoulders, arms are straight, knees are bent. You push down to your feet, hop up, come back down. So you're not thudding on the landing. You're landing really quietly and slowly. And you could even imagine that you were going to hop up and find your squatting position in the air, right? So this malasana shape in the air, ribs and belly in, and then quietly land back down. So at home, I want you to do about 5 to 10 hops with light landings. Hops, light landings. If you get stuck and hold it up there, then great, hold it up there. Okay, let's try 3 more, 4 more, wherever you're at. Breathe. Maybe 2 more. Last one. And then when you're done, feet down, hips distance. Walk your hands back to your feet. Lift the soles of your feet up. Slide the palms under the soles of your feet. Now you might need to bend your knees a lot in order to make that happen. And once you've got it, massage your wrists with your toes. Slowly start to straighten the legs. Pull with the hands on the feet to lift your hips up. All right. And then slowly release the hands out from underneath you. Walk your hands forward. Drop the knees down to the mat. We're going to swing the legs over to one side and come to sit on your butt with the legs out in front of you. Grab hold of your shin bones, lean back, round your spine, and come all the way down onto your back and pull the knees into your chest. Okay, so then just bring your feet flat on the ground, your knees bent here. We're gonna do a tiny little bit of back bending, moving into some hip stretches, and just a couple more seated poses, and then you guys are home free. So plant your feet flat on the ground, directly underneath the backs of the knees here. And then let's go ahead and robot your arms, just like this. So elbows are in, palms face each other. I want you to push your shoulder blades down into the mat, so much so that you could puff up your chest. So notice my hips are still down on the mat, but if I move my arms, you can see all that space between the mat and my upper back. Okay, so push the elbows down, push the shoulders down, and puff up your chest. And then keeping the glutes relatively relaxed, we'll push down into the heels and slowly begin to lift your hips up. Okay, now once your hips lift, keep lifting through the chest, the sternum, pushing your sternum towards the crown of your head, pushing your knees forward in front of you. So if this feels good, you're just going to hang out right here and breathe. Good. And then when you're ready, we'll lower those hips back down onto the mat, rounding from your upper back to the mid back to the lower back. Let your arms rest, let your knees knock, and just take a couple breaths right here, relaxing. Don't open your knees and bring your feet together because this closes off your low back space. We want to open the low back space, so close the knees. A couple more breaths. Okay, this will be the second and final round of back bending. So we're going to set up again, robot arms, separate your knees and feet, hips distance. Push down into the elbows and shoulders, puff up the chest, push down into the feet, puff up the hips. And then options here are to take your hands now, interlace your fingers underneath you, push the fists and the backs of the arms down, maybe walk them in a little bit closer and lift up. Now you have one more option. If you'd like, you can bend your elbows like you're a server holding a tray, fingers out, wrists in. Bring your tray to your low back, your sacrum. So you're gonna make a little shelf for your sacrum to rest on. So your feet are actually kind of light, less weight in the legs, and you can just hang out here. If you have any shoulder sensitivity or injury, this might not be the best option for you. So just gauge that at home if you're on your own. Notice how your shoulders feel. You can also see if your rib cage is even from here. I have one rib that pokes out a little more than the other. Okay, good. And just slowly release your hands. Roll down onto the mat. So again, we'll knock the knees together, walk your feet out wide, and just rest here for a moment. So this is when that natural yoga high happens, when we do these back bends and heart and chest openers. It releases a lot of blocked energy, or kind of opens up the energy channels of the body. So you're going to feel energy moving throughout your whole body. So just hang out, chill, enjoy it for a moment or two. And then we're going to take this into a really easy reclined hip stretch. Since we're already on our backs, separate your knees. We'll start on the left though. So take your left foot to your right thigh and flex your left foot so the ankle's supported. And then from here, you can take your hands and either grab the back of the right thigh or the front of the right shin and just kind of pull the leg in towards you. So my left knee is actually moving away from me as I pull that right leg in towards my body. Should feel really good. And if you're a pretty bendy person and you have really open hips and you want a little bit more than this, then lift your head and chest up off the mat. And you can cradle your left shin in your arms, okay? Take the right leg, extend it all the way out onto the mat in front of you. Make sure your leg doesn't go out on a diagonal, okay? I want it straight out from the hip, inner thigh rotating down and into the mat. And if you still have more space, then you could recline your head and chest back down onto the ground. And just breathe here. Got about 30 seconds left, so just try to stay in this position. Tap into your breath. Slow it down. Okay, slowly, if the bottom leg is straight, go ahead and rebend the knee, and then just release the left foot from the right. Shake out that leg a little bit, however you need to move. And then we'll come into the second side. So right foot on the left thigh. Again, you can either grab the back of the thigh or the front of the shin on the left leg. Now you might be tighter on one side than the other side, so that's absolutely fine. Things don't have to be completely even, just honoring the difference if there is one. Now again, if you have a little bit more space in your hips, then you could lift your head up, cradle the shin, extend the opposite leg straight out in front of you, and then maybe even recline your head and shoulders back down onto the yoga mat. Okay, so we have about 2 minutes left. We're gonna release this stretch. Hug both knees into your chest. And once you've got the knees into your chest, take your hands, reach forward past the hips, big inhale. Exhale, curl your head and chest up off the mat. Bring your nose to your knees. And then see if you could reach your arms up and back behind you. All the way out next to your ears. Hold that. See then if you could extend your legs out in front of you. You might start to shake. I'm definitely shaking. It's okay if you are too. Hold it, hold it, hold it. And then release. Okay, take a big stretch. Reach your arms up, your feet forward, big inhale. Exhale, release. Hug those knees back into your chest, but this time we're gonna rock forward and backward along the spine. And do that like 3 or 4 times. Kind of massage your back as you go. Should feel really good. And on your last one, come up to a seated position. All right, you guys, cross your legs. Come back to Sukhasana at the top of your mat. One last little stretch here. Reach your arms up, inhale. And on your exhale, hinge from your hips and fold forward. Let your head hang heavy. Push your hips back. And then look forward, come all the way back up, reach your arms up. Exhale, hands down by your sides. Just lean back. Switch the cross of the legs. Re-extend your arms up, inhale. And then exhale, last time, fold forward. Good, look forward. Come all the way back up to a seat. Okay, so you made it. 30-minute Vinyasa Flow. This was pretty challenging, so hopefully you're feeling sweaty and that you got a really good workout. Let's just bring the hands to prayer position to finish here. Sit up really tall, and then bow your chin down into your chest. So we'll just take a moment to acknowledge all the hard work you just did. Notice how awesome your body feels, how clear and content your mind is. And then go ahead and blink your eyes to open, lift your head up, and go out there and take on the day. Nice work, you guys.